Welcome to the Speaking of Math podcast, episode number 27 by Door to Math. This podcast is devoted to all things math education and how parents can be a positive factor in their kids' math learning. Math is the gateway to many professional careers as well as confidence and personal growth. Find more information at www.doortomath.com. So let's get on with the topic of the day. I want to ask you about a music teacher that your daughter had once. It was maybe fifth or sixth grade she was in, and she didn't count right or didn't get one of the notes right. And the teacher made some offhand comment. I know that they didn't really mean it, but made some offhand comment. If you can't get this, you'll never be in the orchestra.
Oh, I remember that one. I was really fearful I read them there because I know from working with parents and kids that I know our daughter really worked hard on that one piece. When the effort she put in and the outside is not balanced, the thing they call cognitive consistency is gonna label herself right then there. I know that she's gonna label and she's gonna take that teacher's offhand comment and label it on herself. And to unlabel herself is it's what I do, but it's really hard work. Right then there, if I can unhook it, I know I'll serve her, and then it did serve her well.
Yeah, she did well in music. After that, she stayed with her orchestra all the way through high school, and even in college, she still does violin. But that's music. Are you saying something similar can happen in math also?
Yeah, so here's the thing though. We got lucky in that we take our kids to music lesson. Right then there, we usually stay there. And we know the teacher pretty well, so she was having a bad day, and then offhand comment, I knew it's gonna propagate it down if I didn't help my daughter to look in a different perspective. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the times, when that event similar happens in math, we are not there because we're at work. We have our thing, right? We send our kids to school. And when that event does happen, most of us are not there to unhook that negative labeling right then there.
So if I'm a parent, is that something I should watch out for? That my kid comes home with a comment that's gonna paralyze them for the rest of their education?
Yeah, so when you hear something give you that gut a kick in the guts, you gotta pay attention to that. So if a kid come in and say, if my teacher says I will never be, or girls never gonna be good at math, believe it or not, there are teachers actually say that to our kids. So when and if you do hear that, so first of all, you got to recognize that's labeling, and that label dealt with will carry with the child because it changes our kids' perception of their own ability. That's really important. Second thing is do not go after teacher. If going after teacher would demonstrate the wrong thing to our kids, which is outside influences are going to change, but how we process the outside information in a healthy way is what I believe much more important to pass on to our kids.
So I believe what we're talking about is when your child gets labeled in school, and that really seeps deep into them, and then they don't perform as well as they should, despite the effort. Is that correct?
Yeah, so think of it this way. If you think of the offhand comment as if that teacher right in there put a wrong pair of glasses on your kid, right? If your kid did not realize that's not the glasses belongs to him or her, she or him is gonna keep on looking the rest of the life through that pair of glasses that doesn't fit. So right in there, when our daughter heard that offhand comment, I knew not to go after the music teacher, but make sure my daughter take that glasses off because it has nothing to do with her music ability.
Now that really scares me because I'm sure teachers have good days, bad days, and so on and so forth. Inevitably, at some point, my child's going to be labeled in something somewhere, and then that's going to hurt them down the road. How can I tell if they're being labeled or they were labeled in the school that day?
I know. So it is scary in a way because we send our kids to school and we don't see them for another 5 hours. And that's why I believe it's really important to have a 5, 10 minutes daily check in with the kid, especially if math. math is one of those things. It's cumulative, kind of like a golf in a way. You make some sort of glasses if put onto your kids' eyes in the first grade, that kid is going to keep on carrying that until someone somewhere give that kid a proper help. Hopefully it's you. Take that glasses off and say, the teacher was saying blah blah blah. What I think what happened is this. Here's a better way to look at it instead.
All right. So in a daily check-in, if you hear the labeling, you say, "Here's a better way to look at it," or "This is what I think happened, and here's a better way to look at it." Is that correct?
Yes. So it goes back to, I think, one of our episodes we talked about the four core. It's anywhere between 6 and 4. But here's the thing I remember: mad, sad, glad, and scared. So if you hit on any one of those four core emotions, a child is going to have a reaction, positive or negative. You want to make sure you go back there, reprocess those emotions, and help your kid have a better look. So maybe the teacher was having a bad day, maybe the teacher had a flat tire, who knows what happened, right? So the teacher is saying something mean, labeling your kid, saying girls could never do math. You can help your kid to untangle that comment off from what your child's natural ability is.
So usually when my kids come home, I ask them, "How does school go?" And they say, "Okay," and then just do their stuff. Obviously, I'm not asking the right question. Are there better questions to ask?
I don't think it's a better or worse question. I think the fact that you're always there, it's what's the important. It's the consistency. I mean, this topic, this podcast, we're talking about the cognitive consistency. So even if you get a whole bunch, like, 5, 10 days in a row of, oh, everything's fine, there's one day you're going to ask and something's going to pour out, and you want to be there when that thing happens. I think that consistency outweighs a lot more than quality even.
So it's not the type of questions you ask, it's how your listening is if it's something out of the ordinary each day.
Yes, I mean, we're busy. We're adults. We have older parents. We're taking care. We have bosses. We have a lot of projects. I think taking that mindful 5, 10 minutes every day, checking in, and kids are kind of like us. If they know we're always going to be there, when and if that one day something does happen, they know where to go, and hopefully that's you. And so when that do happen, pay attention when it happens.
So if you ask the same question each day, most likely you'll get the same answer 99 out of 100 times. You gotta look for that one time that you don't get the right answer.
Yep, that's why we buy insurance, right? You hope you don't use it, but that one day you do use it, hopefully you have it.
And when you do get the wrong answer, that's when you pause everything and stop and ask more questions to unwrap what happened.
Yes, you're gonna have to separate the emotion, which is a temporary physiological thing your body trying to protect you, transfer to a feeling, which is a long-term cognitive interpretation of what happened. That interpretation for kids, it's really hard for them to get a healthy interpretation. That's why they need adults around them to help them to have a healthier interpretation when something negative did happen.
Now, when you told me that story with the music teacher, you were right there to intervene maybe 5 seconds after the event happens. My child comes home and it might be 6 or 7 hours after the event happened. I'm worried that it's too late by then.
6, 7 hours is a lot better than 6, 7 weeks or 6, 7 months or years, right? So you gotta just consistency be there, and knowing that 6 hours is better than 6 months or 6 weeks. Yes, 6 seconds is a lot better than 6 hours. But like I said, we're busy, we're adults, and we have things we need to do.
So, as a father, what I hear there's one very positive contribution I can make to my kids, and that's just to check in with them each night and to see if something's out of the ordinary. And if something's out of the ordinary, they might have been labeled in school, and I have tools to step in and relieve their emotions with them and reframe it in a different way.
Yeah, it's so critical. Think of as a emotional brushing each day, right? We brush our teeth twice a day, and that prevents plaque, right? So when and if things do happen, we have a good hygiene to go on.
All right, so with emotional dental hygiene, that's it for this time, and until next time.
Happy parenting.